Hello everyone, welcome back to the Replay Studio. We're here with another season of The Witcher, season two. Uh Last time on The Witcher, I quite enjoyed season one a bit. I did have some criticisms of it. Um I think for the most part, season one of The Witcher was actually well received. I know there was some hesitation, and still is some hesitation in terms of changes that they've made to the source material from the novel. But I said it in my reaction to the first season, and I'll say it here again. The way in which I try to look at these adaptations, is that it is someone's introduction to the world of The Witcher, and I think the more fans, the better. And I think all fans of The Witcher, whether it's the novels or the game, will want more individuals coming in and learning about this world. So this may not be your Witcher as far as a one-to-one adaptation from the novel or the games, but this is someone else's. For me personally, I was introduced to the Witcher through the games, and not the novels. Right. So this is an opportunity for us to get more fans into this, and who wouldn't want that? And then they'll go on to read the novels. So I try to keep an open mind, and I encourage others to do the same. Now for season one, yeah, I will say I did like season one quite a bit, as I mentioned, but I did have some fair criticisms of it. One of which is the chemistry, some of the choreography. The choreography in episode one was amazing and fantastic. My issue with um the choreography was actually, and maybe that doesn't fall into choreography really, but it's really the mages fighting. That was the part. I was hoping for with the world of The Witcher was for it to be fantastical, and I don't know whether it's the design or some of the elements that they chose to work with for the magic, which it just did not feel, it just didn't do it for me, as far as looking fantastical, and just looking and feeling like magic. I was just missing something, and that was one of my first complaints for the series overall. And I've actually since seen Netflix do shows with magic. And ironically, for those of you who have watched The Witcher: Nightmare of the Wolf, and I will say The Witcher: Nightmare of the Wolf is so far my favorite thing in The Witcher that has been done. Animated, animated or live action. The Nightmare of the Wolf was amazing. I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed that one. I know I raised that as a contrast with the Witcher season one series, because of the relationships and the magic, as I mentioned. In the animated film Nightmare of the Wolves, the magic is actually upped a bit, and some of the spells that the Witchers cast appear to be a bit more powerful. And I know some people were saying that they didn't particularly like that because it's again different from the novels where the signs are not that powerful. But again, it's you have to adapt to fit the medium, and that worked beautifully well in the Witcher animated series. And I wish they would do something similar, not necessarily on that level, but somewhere in between, for the spells and so on in this series as well. Not necessarily for the Witchers, but for the mages themselves. So that was one of my criticisms from season one. The second thing was the relationship between Geralt, Ciri, and Yennefer. I thought, and I think the main issue with the relationship between Geralt and Yennefer, for me personally, again, if you enjoyed it, that's fine, was the three timelines, right? Because in one episode they had just met, and then by the next episode, 3 decades had passed, and we were meant to believe that they have this relationship, or this connection. And it just felt a bit jarring for me. I wished I had a few more, at least one or two more episodes where they encountered each other throughout those 3 decades, and got involved in something and had to help each other out. I just wanted a bit more of that before we jump straight to 3 decades, and we now have a history. Um, and I the contrast in Nightmare of the Wolf again, and how beautifully that was done there, which is, a movie that was like an hour and maybe 20 minutes somewhere there, and typically movies struggle to build those relationships because they don't have as much time as a series does. But Nightmare of the Wolf did that beautifully with the younger Vesemir and the his childhood friend. I'm blanking on her name at the moment, but um that's that scene with the two of them at the lake at the end of the film just almost brought me to tears, and I loved, absolutely loved. That was my favorite thing about that movie. Now, for the Witcher series in season one, I just didn't get that with Geralt and Yennefer. But I will say that I got it with Geralt and, I'm sorry, with Yennefer and Tissaia the Freeze, and that is the thing that I'm looking forward to the most in this season is the relationship between Yennefer and Tissaia. I just love that in season one. That's my favorite thing in about the first season. And I will say, and I know there are a lot of Cavill fans out there. Henry Cavill is, I like him as an actor. I love him as Superman. Absolutely love him as Superman. But I'm still not completely there with him as Geralt just yet. But I think it's getting there. I think it's getting there. It's just not quite there as yet for me. But I will say Anya Shalotra. She is the best actor or actress that is in the series, bar none. She's done a phenomenal job. This is someone who has, for me, I'm coming from the Witcher video games, and I did not like Yennefer in the games. I despised her character because she was pompous. She treated everyone like horribly. I didn't particularly like her. Yeah, Anya somehow made me like Yennefer. That's not something that I thought would actually happen, and I know it helps that Yennefer has a backstory in this adaptation. I don't think she does in the novel, and she doesn't in the games either. So maybe that was missing from the game. But whatever the case, they did it here, and she made me like the character very much, and she's my favorite thing about the Witcher series so far. I'm still waiting to be impressed by Geralt. As I said, I'm not sure. I'm still not convinced to this day that Henry Cavill was the best choice, but he is the choice that we have, and that's not going to change. So I'm hoping to see how things progress with him. At the end of season one, we got his finally being united with Siri. We got some glimpses into his past as well and his mom, and I do wonder whether we'll be exploring that. Um, yeah, yeah. And I know we're going to be at Kaer Morhen this season based on the brief trailers that we've gotten. So I'm quite intrigued to see Papa Vesemir and and the other Witchers. A lot more Witchers than I imagine, but from what the snippets that we've seen, but it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. All right, that's enough chatter, guys. Witcher season 2, episode 1. Let's check it out. Oh, are we already here?
Hello? I'm in need of lodgings for the night. I'm a merchant. I can...
Oh, okay. I thought we were already at Kaer Morhen. Traveler. Turn back, guys. This is not the place. Starts out bloody. Poor travelers. You know what? Which in The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf, that's how it starts out. Some poor travelers on their carriage going about their business, and then they get snatched up. This is the aftermath after Yennefer scorched the battlefield.
Not today.
Vilgefortz is alive? I'm almost certain he was killed. Oh, okay. So she's trying to figure out what happened to Yen. It's probably taken by Nilfgaard.
She's gone.
Jennifer!
You see that he's really grown to care for Yen over the years.
Jennifer!
Oh. Actually thought it was the other guy. How does he know she was here?
Where is she?
And who are you to her exactly?
Is she alive?
Well, they're bound together, so wouldn't he know? Well, they're fighting to save others, so I would say yes.
Please tell me who she is.
His hair looks a lot better this season, I will say.
She's gone now.
I don't know how he knew to actually come here. I know the battle was nearby because the old man that was taking him, you know, was talking about the battle going on, but
You don't sleep at
I
all.
don't know how he knew she was there.
Makes a few nightmares. Except for the one about the rock troll. Overly friendly. What about yours?
Black Knight has me on his horse. Sintra is burning.
R.I.P. Queen
Yes,
Calentra. Your home is gone, sadly. You need a new home.
What is it?
Can I get some help over here too? You guys did a nice job on her.
For good.
And what about this?
Fringilla was at the front, coordinating the Nilfgaardian attack with the prisoner we took.
This is on you.
We need intelligence from that prisoner now. The kings have their blood up. They want to chase Nilfgaard south.
Perhaps we should, since you would have us be warriors in the field instead of advisors in the palace.
You weren't there, Artorius.
Yeah, Vilgefortz screwed up.
But barely.
I'm not even sure how he's here. I need to go back and watch that scene because I'm almost certain he should be dead. Is this Vilgefortz, by the way? Or is this the doppelganger? I don't even know. Yep, Fringilla's got her.
Welcome back.
I suspect she's gonna try to turn her to sympathize with Nilfgaard. May very well work. I mean, we know Yen, you know,
It's where witches go during the
she
winter.
covets power above all things, so
A place all around.
they make her a good offer. I can see her turning.
I've never heard of it.
There was an attack. A long time ago when I was a boy. Almost wiped us all out.
Yeah.
So now we
The
like to
Nightmare of the Wolf. So I know that event was slightly different in the animated series, but it was still pretty good. My only issue with that versus here, and to tie it back to the novels and the game, is the age difference for Vesemir, because I think he should be a lot older when he met Geralt for the first time. And they didn't need to include Geralt in the animated film either. They could have just left that out, you know, and then just continue here. See, even right here when he uses Axii, there's no visual representation. You know, there's a sound, but it would be nice to see some visual cues to suggest this is what is happening. We don't need to see the signs in the air or anything, which, I mean, I think that's how it is in the book, and it's kind of how it is in the game. You don't have to do it that way, but some sort of visual cue would be nice. and it would look good.
There were no guards.
Maybe they're hiding from the
Quiet.
Hiding from something.
There are no barking dogs either.
It's not the cold.
So what now?
I know someone nearby. An old friend.
Interesting.
Stay on road.
Oh. I'm guessing this is his old friend's way of keeping trespassers out. Ah. Doesn't recognize him?
Nebelin? What the fuck are you doing here, you old whore son?
This is your friend.
Yeah. But he's changed.
I know. I look at that difference since you saw
If I remember correctly, this is the actor from
Messiah
Game of
for my
Thrones,
guests.
the
You,
red-haired
my
dude, I
dear.
forget his name. When I heard he was cast,
Well, what say you to a hot bath to warm your frozen bones?
Love one.
Where do we stay until the storm dies?
Please.
but when I heard he was cast, I thought he would have been great as a Witcher, you know?
I'm not one to
I
slight
didn't
the right
realize they cast him as
hospitality.
Nephilim.
But I do need to know that she's safe here.
You see my tusks and think I would bite the throat?
The hell is that? Hopefully he just has some magical critters running around. And not some monster. He wasn't telling the whole truth.
Lovely. Roast venison, sage truffles, sweet wine, and lots of it.
I see he's not very subtle with things.
I told you how we first met?
No. He's not especially chatty.
No.
I'd like to hear though.
It's my favorite tale. You see, this snow-capped sourpuss here
Was hired by the most horrible monster of all.
my father to clear a woods or wyvern. I tried to prove myself to my father by killing one first. But instead, I fell into the Dampy's lair. This one pulls me up by the scruff of my neck and
See, the beauty
slices
of
the
animation
wyvern,
is that we will
snapping
be
at my
getting a
neck.
flashback right here to tell this story. Not that I mind him telling it.
Hands me the wyvern's head and tells my father I was the one that killed him.
Look, girls, you do have a heart.
The first and last time I saw my father proud of me. After that, Geralt and I became friends of a sort over many a summer.
Since we're telling no lies, tell us about your curse.
I trashed the temple of the lion-headed spider, high on goldflesh mushrooms.
All the mushrooms in the world wouldn't make anyone that stupid.
If only it was so. After the damage was done, this priestess cursed me to live
Damn.
like this.
That last part doesn't sound right. Who's in the attic?
I'll be honest. I've tried to end it, Geralt. More than once.
I'm familiar with the
Kept
character,
coming
but I don't
back.
remember his story very well to know what's happening. But I imagine
The
the show
village
will
below was
go into
abandoned.
that a bit.
What happened there?
After the Battle of Sodden, the countryside is a dangerous place.
Wild Hunt already. Interesting.
Maybe it's the end of days.
I've lived through a whole dark age and 3 supposed end of days. It's all horseshit.
No, something has changed,
No,
Geralt.
some things end even if you don't.
The world's acting of its own strange accord.
Nivelin, do you have a cat? I think the poor thing might be stuck in the ceiling.
I do, in fact. She's fine. Verena, she's called.
Was someone else
I'm
cursed
very
along
glad of
with
the
him?
company, even if she's a shy wee thing.
Or is he keeping someone captive?
Scout the property. Make sure it's secure for the night.
Go on, Geralt. We'll be alright.
You should just be forthcoming and tell him the truth, man. What are you hiding? Oh, they caught him?
Are you my inquisitor or executioner?
I wish we had gotten to see a lot of these things that seem to have happened. I can't see them abandoning him. Unless Yennefer and the army that came to help completely wiped them out, but I mean, from what he said in the last episode, last season, he may just be a pawn for someone else.
It is not in my nature to be cruel, but you have taken someone from me. So now I will take your knowledge, your memories, your very being.
I understand to say, but I don't know if this
Trapped in the
is the best thing to
darkness of
do.
your own mind.
You may just end up creating an even bigger monster.
If evolution has traced any groove at all in your brain, I will plow it somewhat deeper. And then you will know what a scream can really be.
I have no sympathy for them.
You're on the run. We won a battle. The war's just begun.
The refrain of the defeated.
What did they do to get Fringilla on their side? Initially, I thought it was just jealousy because, you know, the favoritism towards Yennefer. But now I feel maybe it's something else.
Sacrifice. A bloody mea culpa for fucking up Nilfgaard's great push north.
Interesting. I thought reinforcements had arrived, so are they still fighting Nilfgaard?
It's a famous piece I first saw as a lad while studying at Oxenfurt. It tells the tale
Oh, cool.
of a doomed young elven warrior and a human she falls in love.
I hope Geralt won't have to kill him by the end of this episode. It seems cool, but he's definitely hiding something. If he's cursed to be alone, the one in the woman or thing in the attic,
Have you ever tried to cure
I can
yourself?
only imagine
Oh,
he's
I've
keeping
tried
her
many
there
others
against her
tried
will.
To kiss me, hoping there was a grain of truth in those fairy tales.
Maybe
Oh,
just
so it's
come
playing on the
from
old
one.
Beauty and the Beast trope. So was he able to do magic before? Because
All
Geralt
my
gave me the
servants
impression
are buried
that
there.
all the magic is new.
I
So
killed them
did
the
it come
day
with
I
the
took
curse? If so, then
Not
screw
knowing
what
my
you look like,
purpose,
mate.
not knowing my
You know,
own
the
strength.
power is worth it.
I deserve my destiny.
You're sure that thing, that cat isn't going to try to kill her?
I appreciate that, my dear. Monsters are more than just horrid looks and claws and teeth. Monsters are born of deeds done. Unforgivable ones.
Good night, Evelyn.
I thought he was going to search for the thing. Listen to Roach. So the thing from the inn followed them here. Unless it originated from here to begin with. Prince lead out and then vanished, so it flew. Ah, so his cat is the thing that's been attacking the inn. Yeah, I know it's not a cat, but
How in the name
it's just been going out and feeding and then coming back here.
How did
Maybe
you find
he wasn't the
yourself
only
looking
one that was
after a
cursed
young
then.
girl?
I promised her grandmother before she died.
Nope. I already hit the face. What have you got in the attic?
What changed?
He's cheating.
Who?
Rent-free?
Yennefer Vengerberg.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that change. I was kind of my issue with season 1 because I don't feel like I saw any of that change. In terms of how Yennefer had an impact on him, I don't think I saw that.
Will be enough to scare your failure. You watch my head roll right before your own.
You think that we ventured north to conquer?
From what?
Sure, we hit Aretusa, but at least you still had your own mind.
That implies choice. I was placed in a kingdom at the whim of the Brotherhood's wants. We all were. Just gilded pawns to control kingdoms.
That is true.
We weren't forced to do anything.
But I don't know that Nilfgaard is doing anything better.
I had to say it to shield me from
Perhaps if
consequences.
you thought for yourself instead of licking others' boots. Eager to please, easy to wound.
You're blind, Yennefer.
I don't imagine Geralt plans to turn her into a witcher.
Dan, I know who you truly are. What are you hiding now?
I need to drain the snake and hit the silk.
I'll tell them the truth, huh?
Go to sleep, you so-called conjure.
Somehow I get the feeling that that dress that she's wearing belonged to someone else, and that's why she's been scurrying around, you know, above Ciri. Ugh. That looks pretty dope, though. This is what I like to see in The Witcher. Interesting, her movements. I don't know if maybe they sped that up. Her movements look almost mechanical.
A friend of Nivellen.
Hasn't mentioned
Before
you.
having a nightmare, I came to check on you.
Something's happening here.
Nivellen said you're a cat. Are you?
Not human, clearly.
I am different. I am not you. But I am like you.
How did you do
travel with that man.
I know what he is. He kills things.
So do you, I imagine.
Monsters. Yes. Kills them.
Do bad things to people. Humans do bad things to everybody.
Touché.
Evelyn. He hid you from the Witcher.
Only if she's a monster who does bad things to people. I'd rather this not turn out horribly, but I get the feeling it might. And I don't understand why Niven wouldn't just explain that to Geralt if she's not a threat. But I imagine she's the one that's been attacking the inn and anyone who comes through because she needs to feed, perhaps. So he could only be hiding her because she's a monster. Who does bad things? I mean, you might think that Nevlin's the one that's been doing it. Yeah, perhaps not.
Oh, just by the gate. If anyone other than me leaves this place, ride for your life.
What's happening?
There's a Bruxer in the house.
I wouldn't have guessed that she was a Bruxa.
What are you doing?
What's going on, Geralt?
So he's cursed to be alone and he decides to shack up with a Bruxa. That'll make sense. I mean, he can't harm her or kill her easily. Or maybe that part was a lie and she's the one that killed all his help, you know? And but in that case, why would he be protecting her? Okay, so she feeds on him. Okay. Nice. Oh, gone. Why would he have been protecting her if she's been drinking his blood at night? Maybe that's harder than I think it is. I don't know. It's a tough one. But she flies. Stay away. What are you doing? What are you doing?
You hurt me.
Cirilla, she's the Bruxa.
I mean, she's new to this world.
I can't help myself if you run. He's wrong. I don't want to hurt you.
I get a feeling Nevlin is going to step in. Is she gone? And the smart thing to do would be to run away and hide until they're gone. But I'm worried about Nevlin because I get a feeling he's going to step in and try to save her and end up getting himself killed. He hasn't used Igni once in this entire series, has he? Got her. Stay by the horse.
Cirilla,
Geralt, wait, please.
get away from it.
I'll rip her throat.
I don't know if maybe she thinks, you know, if he kills her, then he's gonna. Oh, okay. That's surprising.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, guess she's not done yet. Why has he been keeping her here?
Oh, nobody.
I guess because he was desperate to find love. She loves your blood. She loves your blood. She doesn't love you. Interesting. So how did that break the curse? He shaved the beard? The actor, I mean.
He's wrong.
I'm shocked.
It's all wrong.
The curse is lifted.
When he lost someone who he thought loved him.
Didn't care what I looked like. But to ease her cravings, I let her feed on me.
But she couldn't control herself.
She was killing people. I don't know.
Love and blood. They both possess a mighty power. Learned men and mages have racked their brains over it for years.
To lose true love.
So he needed to love someone and lose them.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Turn my eyes away from what she did to the villagers. Because she didn't care that I was cursed all those years ago. Not for destroying the temple.
What did you do, Nuglam?
For raping the priestess.
Ah. Well, he deserves his fate.
Please, don't go.
I beg you. Use your sword.
I mean, the curse is broken now, so do whatever you want. Or, you know, you're not a monster anymore. Just try to move forward. Leave this cursed place and do something.
There's something wrong with me.
I got the series worried now, thinking he'll see her as a monster, but I guess that will change in time.
I feel like I could burn the whole world. I wouldn't mean to.
No, at least she's opening up. It's good.
There is
Progress.
malice. If you catch it and you leave it untreated, it can consume you.
How do you treat it?
You face it. I won't let anything happen to you.
You're right.
seat. Cut what you need and get moving. We need to reach Sintra by dawn.
Look at them. You're leading them to
Oh.
a salvation that doesn't exist.
Oh. From what? Who's attacking? Elves? No! Alright. That was a banger episode. I was similarly to episode 1 in season 1. Which I also thought was I felt was the strongest episode in that season. You know, so it opened strong. I'm just hoping that it does a better job than season 1 did. In you know how it progresses the story and ends. But yeah, this was a fantastic episode, just as the episode in season 1 was. You know, bringing you back into the world of The Witcher, and the CGI, the budget, everything has been up to 11, you know. The score is, I think, again, it's not that the score was bad in season 1. This felt closer to the games, the Witcher games, than season 1 did. I think they did a good job enough in season 1 where I wasn't really taken out of it. I know some people had some, you know, issues with that, but I didn't. Even when the trailer for this season dropped and people were a bit, you know, I think there was a rap song somewhere in the trailer, and people were a bit concerned about how this is going to make its way into the show, and they're trying to blend these two things which don't match. I'm like, come on, it's a trailer. Music from trailers almost never make its way into the film or TV show itself. And 2, it's fantasy, and to be honest, the instrumentals in the trailer were great. I didn't mind that. The only issue I had was really when they added the lyrics. I don't think that was necessary. Here again, the score that they've used in this season is just so far at least is just phenomenal. In setting that eerie tone of The Witcher, and it gives the feeling of you being on a contract with Geralt and trying to solve this mystery of this curse that Neville has found himself in. Again, I'm surprised the actor that the actor shaved his beard, because it was this humorous thing when Game of Thrones was going on, and him saying that, you know, he'll never trim the beard. He trimmed it for this role, I guess. I think I even saw him in Fast and the Furious afterwards, and he still had the beard. And without the beard, he's almost unrecognizable here, because for a moment after the transformation, after he returned to being a man, I almost did not I thought it was a different actor. But I guess he needed to do it for this role. He'll have to grow that beard back, but you know, if necessary, because he looks great here. But it's a shame. I mean, Geralt's old friend. I'm glad he didn't have to kill him. But this is true to form for curses that, you know, occur in the world of The Witcher, and like, you know, it gives you something that you think you want, and to be honest, if I'm him, I would choose the power. I would choose to be immortal, because while cursed, he apparently couldn't die. He said he tried to kill himself a few times. And he has magic. I would take that. I'll take the curse. Curse me, okay? I'll take that curse. It means he has to be alone forever, but that's not a fair trade-off? I don't know. This looks like a good deal to me. Besides, I mean, he was able to find companionship with, I guess, you know, a monster, which maybe it's not the best, because he would have to live there with her alone. She wouldn't be able to control her thirst. And, you know, which means he couldn't have company or anything like that. They'd just be living together alone forever, you know, and the bodies that she's piling up would just keep mounting. So it's not a great outlook when when you consider that piece of it. But by himself alone, I would take that curse any day. You know, immortality, magic. I'd never, you know, I'd take it. That's a good deal. I'm just saying that's a good deal. But yeah, we're going into or diving into the relationship with Ciri and Geralt, or it's building so far. They didn't have a whole lot of screen time in season 1. Very little, of course, at the very end. So I imagine this season, for the most part, is going to be traversing their relationships and how Geralt, I guess, trains her versus how he was trained himself. Because his training was very harsh, of course. You know, we heard Neville mention it here briefly about the transformation the Witchers had to go through. And Geralt saying he'd never subject her to that. So I don't, and I mean, from the stories that I know he wouldn't particularly go that route. I don't think the show will deviate from that and make her a witch or anything like that. I don't even think it's possible. I have heard, again, my knowledge of the books is very slim. I've just read snippets here and there, but I've not read through the novels in entirety. But I've played the games, and I've seen others make the comment that witchers, women can't be witchers. And I don't particularly need Ciri to be a witcher, but if they change anything in the lore, I don't mind them changing that fact about women not being witchers. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I come upon this point occasionally when I'm having discussions with others about, you know, novels and so on, and filmography that came out during a particular time period. And I'll say it here again. Look, when a lot of these stories were created, it wouldn't have benefited the authors in any way to spotlight women or people of color, because their demographic, the writer, his or her demographic, more often than not, it's a him. His demographic is, you know, white males, and you know, so in a lot of those stories, you'll notice that the lead characters, the fleshed out characters, are often white males. It's for a reason. It's not to cause some divide or another. It was just the reality of the time when these stories were made. That doesn't mean that we do the same thing now when times have clearly changed. The viewers have changed. The audience has now changed. And so your target, your story needs to adapt to a modern setting. So if they do change that and allow their, you know, have a female witcher, I'm all for that, because it doesn't make any sense for there not to be one. It comes off as something like, yeah, I don't want any girls in my story type of thing. And I don't particularly need, I don't need that. Right? So if they do change that and allow and have a female witcher, and I'm all for that, because I've not heard anyone make a compelling argument as to why. All I've read, and again, for those of you who have read the books, you can tell me specifically why a woman can't be a witcher, because all I've seen is comments that say they've tried with some women and it didn't take, and that's why women can't be witchers, which that doesn't sound like something that's too well explained. So I mean, if there's a better explanation given in the novels or something like that, their anatomy or whatever, I don't know how that would play into it, but feel free to comment below and let me know why that is not possible. But yeah, I don't believe Ciri is going to be a witcher. I think Geralt is going to train her normally. I don't think she needs to be, because obviously she has abilities that she inherited from her mother. So I imagine most of this season is going to be focused on generational training, from how Geralt was trained by Vesemir, and how he will now train Ciri. And it's a nice tie-in to The Witcher: Nightmare of the Wolf. He didn't mention it by name, but or the event specifically, but he did say that, you know, something did happen, you know, at Kaer Morhen, and you know, wiped out most of them when he was much younger. So kind of a throwback, or a sort of a tie-in to the Nightmare of the Wolf. So for those of you who have not watched the Nightmare of the Wolf yet, be sure to go and check it out. I think I also have a reaction somewhere on the channel for that as well. It does bring an interesting conversation, though, whether the Witcher series would have been better off animated as opposed to, a live action series. Yeah, so I stand by my comment that I would have preferred if it was animated. No, but I do see where improvements have been made just from this episode alone. In some of as I said, the CGI, the monsters, the choreography, everything seems to have been improved significantly. So I am happy for that. But I still believe that there are some things that they just can't do that they would have been able to do more effectively in animation. So that's an unfortunate truth. And I'm a huge fan of animation. I don't think, for some odd reason, people see animation as somehow apart from live action, and that's not how I view it. I see them on equal footing in some respects, and I think they each have their own advantages. And in fantasy and fiction, I give that edge to animation because you can do a lot more. But I'm enjoying the story so far, and I think as the seasons progress, they'll have a bigger budget to work with, and they'll be able to do a lot more fantastical and magical things. And yeah, I was particularly impressed with the Bruxa this episode. The actress was amazing, and I forgot at the beginning of this episode, I forgot to call out Queen Calantha, who was, aside from Yennefer and Tissaia de Free's performance, Queen Calantha was a force. I loved her character in season 1. I absolutely loved her character. So I'd say from season 1, those are my 3 favorite characters: Queen Calantha, Yennefer, and Tissaia de Free. So those 3, they're brilliant actresses. And I was in this episode alone, the actress playing the Bruxa, I don't know if her movements were something they did in post and maybe they sped it up to give that mechanical effect. But I love that. I love that small detail that gives you the impression that, okay, she looks human, but she's not quite human, without showing you too much, right? I thought that was brilliantly done. So that makes me a bit more excited now to see the monsters a bit more fleshed out in this season. We didn't get a whole lot of that. I think season 1 was mostly focused on world building, and getting to know the lead characters that we would be following. And now in season 2, I think we can focus on the Witchers and the monsters a bit more, which is the thing I'm most excited for. They did mention something this episode. When Nivellen and Geralt were talking about why he changed or what changed Geralt. And he mentioned that Yennefer was the one that changed him. And that was my gripe with season 1. I don't have a lot of criticisms from season 1, but that was definitely one of them. That was his relationship with Yennefer, because I did not see that organic change in him influenced by Yennefer. I just did not see that. I know one episode they met, they had a moment, they had sex at the end of the episode. It was a bit comical in how they got to that point. And then the next episode we skipped a few decades and they suddenly have a history. So I did not feel that organic change that he mentioned in season 1. If anything, I felt as though Renfri had a bigger impact on him than Yennefer does, and so I like the characters individually, but I just don't feel that organic chemistry that they've mentioned so far. I think each of them are great on their own, but I'm just not feeling the she completes me thing that you're going for with Yennefer and Geralt. Not yet. So again, that was my gripe. So when he mentioned it in this episode, that Yennefer was the one that, or someone changed him, my first thought was Renfri, because I felt as though Renfri and Geralt, they had a discussion about the world and what was happening and the things that have happened to them and how she came to be what she is now, and a lot of that. And I don't think we even got that with Geralt and Yennefer. They mentioned it in passing And he joked about, you know, what she had to give up to look the way she does and so on. And she joked about his upbringing, but it wasn't, they never had a moment, you know. And so that was missing for me. That was completely missing for me. I don't know at this point if there's much that they can do about that, but you know, moving forward, they can try and build the relationship a bit more. And I trust that perhaps Ciri will have some way to help that along, given that Geralt or Yennefer wanted a child and couldn't, and Geralt now didn't want a child and he has one, so that may be something that brings them together, you know. Yeah, so overall, absolutely love the episode. I do hope we get more episodes like this. I just like to see the contracts, but I'm curious to get to Kaer Morhen and see Geralt's interaction with the other Witchers and Ciri go through her training montage as well. I will say, much like my feelings towards Yennefer in the video games, I didn't particularly like Yen in the video games. I love her here. Perhaps because she's more relatable here, or we have an actual backstory here for her. But in terms of Geralt and Ciri's relationship in the games, as much as people love that relationship, I'm one that didn't particularly care about it in the game. I'll be honest with you, for the game itself, I was more enthralled in the world, and I did every other contract before I finished the main story, because I wasn't particularly interested in the father-daughter relationship that was happening there. I just didn't take to me, maybe because I'm not a father, I don't know. But I just didn't find myself caring too much about that story. I cared about the Wild Hunt and all the stuff happening, but I didn't particularly care too much about Geralt and Ciri's relationship in the game. But much like Yennefer, I'm hoping that the series does something different here to pull me in and make that story a bit more compelling. And they certainly started off well here with their moment. You know, each of them, you know, not feeling as though the other is being very open, and slowly, I think that relationship will build and they'll start to trust each other a bit more. So I feel much like my feelings about Yennefer, that this medium will do a better job of selling me on this relationship than the game actually did. So I'm looking forward to that, and you know, I think that they'll do a particularly good job with that. In the games, you're just thrown in and you're told that, okay, this is your daughter and all of this, yeah, accept this. But here, I can see it happening organically, and I feel more, you know, I feel more attached to it in that way. But yeah, yes. Finally, this video is going on a lot longer than I thought it would. Yennefer and Fringilla found themselves in a peculiar situation. There was a time skip, it seems. The battle is over. I would have wanted to see that battle somewhat at the end of season 1. We saw reinforcements arrive, but we didn't see the battle itself. But the battle is concluded. Nilfgaard lost. They're going back, I guess, supposed to wherever the White Flame is, their headquarters is, to get help maybe. And yeah, it seems they're both trying to turn the other against the, you know, their whoever it is they're loyal to, and neither of them, you know, are budging. We didn't quite understand what is motivating Fringilla. I thought it was greed in season 1 because, you know, there was some favoritism towards Yennefer after a while. But it's sounding as though she had other reasons for siding with Nilfgaard. So I'm intrigued to understand why. I know there was a lot of pushback about Fringilla in season 1. And my issue with Fringilla was not her casting. My issue was with the lines that she was given, which I just wasn't really being sold on. But her conversation here with Yennefer, I get that a lot more, and I think as we learn more about these characters, you know, we'll come to understand them a bit more. So I'm more open now to Fringilla as I learn more and more about her and what is motivating her to do the things that she actually does. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I do worry that they will turn Yennefer, because we do know that, you know, she does have a thirst for power there, and you know, I think if they make her the right offer, she would definitely turn. I'm not sure who was attacking them at the end here, whether it is Nilfgaard and maybe they just killed all the guards because they see them as failures, or maybe they're elves and they are marching right through a forest, and so I'm not sure where exactly they are, but anything is possible at this point. But they were using man-made weapons, so I don't think they're monsters. I don't think they're being attacked by monsters. But yeah, it's quite interesting. I was happy to see Tissaia de Vries again. I don't know. I mentioned I absolutely love the actress. She's doing some bad things here, out of concern or rage from losing Yennefer or thinking that she has lost Yennefer. I'm just happy to see that this is the fruition of her relationship with Yennefer. You know, there's somebody being tortured at the end of it, but she's finally showing that she does actually care for her, and I'm loving that. So I can't wait to see them reunited. Hopefully soon. So I can't wait for the next episode, guys. Be sure to post down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this first episode of season 2 of The Witcher. Remember to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one.